What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're playing some Counter-Strike 2, and while you guys watch the gameplay, I wanted to talk about something that I've been thinking about recently. Why is Counter-Strike still the king of FPS games? Seriously, there have been hundreds of shooters over the years. New games come out constantly, some explode in popularity, some disappear after a few months. Some promise they're going to be the next big thing, and yet somehow Counter-Strike is still here. Not only is it still here, but it's still one of the biggest competitive games in the world. And honestly, after playing pretty much every major FPS at some point, I think there's a reason for that. Counter-Strike does something that almost no other game can do. It creates moments that feel earned. Every kill matters, every round matters, every decision matters. And a lot of shooters, if you die, you respawn 5 seconds later, and you're back in the action. In Counter-Strike, you're sitting there, watching your teammate, and questioning every life choice that led you to peaking mid. You get one chance, and because of that, every fight feels important. I don't know about you guys, but I still get adrenaline every clutch situation. Even after all these years, a 1v3 Counter-Strike feels more intense than entire matches in some other games. Your heart starts racing, your teammates suddenly become professional coaches, everybody's backseat gaming, and somehow you can't hear anything except your own footsteps. Those moments are what make Counter-Strike special. Another thing that makes CS different is that it's simple, at least on the surface. Counter-terrorists plant the bomb, counter-terrorists stop them. That's it. The objective is incredibly easy to understand, but the deeper you go, the more complicated the game becomes. Utility usage, economy management, crosshair placement, positioning, timing, communication, game sense. There's always another skill to improve. And that's why people end up putting thousands of hours into this game. You never feel like you've completely mastered it. There's always something to learn. And honestly, that's pretty rare nowadays. A lot of modern shooters focus on abilities, ultimates, gadgets, perks, and a million different systems. Counter-Strike keeps things simple. The game is asking if your character picked the right ability. The game is asking, can you hit the shot? Can you make the right decision? Can you outplay the other team? That's what I love about it. When you lose in Counter Strike, it's usually obvious why. Maybe your aim was off, maybe your positioning was bad, maybe your team made a mistake. It's brutally honest, sometimes painfully honest, and yes, that's frustrating. But it's also what makes improvement so satisfying. Because when you get better, you can actually feel it. You remember the angles you used to lose, you remember the situations you used to panic in. The one day you realize you're winning those fights consistently, and that's one of the best feelings in gaming. Now let's talk about the maps. Because Counter-Strike maps are legendary, whether it's Mirage, Just 2, Inferno, Nuke, Ancient, or whatever your favorite happens to be, most CS maps have been refined for years. Every angle, every smoke, every flash, every boost, everything exists for a reason. Some maps have literally been played by millions of players over decades, and people are still discovering new tricks. That's absolutely insane. Then there's the esports scene. Even if you don't watch competitive Counter-Strike regularly, you've probably seen some iconic moments. Insane clutches, unbelievable flicks, crowds completely losing their minds. Counter-Strike creates moments that become gaming history. And I think that's because everyone understands how difficult those plays are. You don't need to be a professional player to appreciate an incredible clutch. You instantly know how impressive it is. Another thing I think people underestimate is how rewarding improvement feels in Counter Strike. In some games, getting better means unlocking stronger equipment. In Counter Strike, getting better means becoming a better player. The weapons aren't changing, the maps aren't changing every week. You are. And I think that's a huge reason why people stay hooked for so long. The game rewards skill in a way that's hard to find elsewhere. Now, obviously, Counter Strike isn't perfect. No game is. We've all dealt with weird teammates, questionable matchmaking, random moments that make absolutely no sense. We've all had those games where it feels like the entire universe is against us. That's part of the experience, though. But even with all that, people keep coming back. year after year, generation after generation, and I think that's because Counter Strike delivers something most FPS games struggle to create: a true competitive experience. When you win a tough match in CS, it feels earned. When you pull off a clutch, it feels earned. When you finally rank up, it feels earned. Nothing is handed to you, you have to work for it. And that's exactly why I think Counter Strike is still the best FPS game ever made. It's simple enough for anyone to understand, deep enough to spend thousands of hours learning, and rewarding enough to keep players coming back for decades. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Counter Strike content. And let me know down in the comments what you think comes closest to Counter Strike as the greatest FPS of all time. Thanks for watching, enjoy the rest of the gameplay, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.